Hey everybody, I wanted to go over EB03 now that the full card list is out. My thoughts on the set, should you be picking it up? What are the benefits, what to look for? Obviously, this comes out for us in February, so this will be hot off the tails of, a lot of big tournaments, right? Like EB03 comes out very quickly after, or not very quickly, I guess. There's a decent gap from EB13, right? But then we have EB14, which comes out with EB04 in it for us because we're still on this condensed release schedule. There's just so much product coming out. I wanted to talk about this because it's very easy for people, and myself included. So I figured if I have concerns that probably a lot of people do as well, like about FOMO, right? What are some of the benefits of this set? What are some of the decks that benefit from it? We're going to go over each card, talk about it. What decks can it go into, right? There is a lot of good support for this, but maybe some of the decks that you play don't benefit too much. So save your money, right? But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to support me in this channel, you can check out links in the description. I got a coupon code for Ned Garden, Straw Hat Pecan. It should be 8% off now, I've been told, which is really dope because they have a lot of, new playmats coming out all the time. I've got a TCG player affiliate link if you're going to be buying any cards. And I made a Twitter at Straw Hat Pecan, but let's get into it. All right. I think big things to think about for the set, right? This comes out February. EB13, big power creep set, right? It's an anniversary set. Huge boost to the meta with new leaders that are going to be very top tier, right? Ace, Emu, Roger, once we get that promo for Roger, all going to be very good. Important to note, EB03 and extra booster sets are about half of like a regular set in terms of like cards typically. It does contain 2 secret rares, right? And only 1 leader. So let's go over those. Those are like some of the bigger pieces for this set. So maybe this will give you an idea if you want to get into the set or not. We've got Vivi, our only leader from EB03, and from what I've heard, the testing has been super crazy for her. It does seem like it'll be a better Vivi leader than the original OP04 one that I've played on the channel a bit, right? So I just want to test this leader. But for life, blue and red 5k power, Alabasta type. Once per turn, if a character with a base cost of 4 or more would be KO'd, you may instead trash 1 card from your hand instead. So protection, which is nice, right? That's always good. It doesn't say KO by effect either, so it could be by battle, right? Activate main, you may rest this leader, give it to one of your opponent's characters minus 2k power during this turn, then give one of your characters without any when attacking effect rush. So benefits is that it's got built-in power reduction, built-in card protection. It can still swing, even though if you do swing with the leader, you won't be able to use the effect, right? So early game, if you don't need to minus anything, give something rush, you can attack with your leader, develop board 2, right? Whereas the old VB couldn't attack. If this seems like something up your playstyle, there are going to be a decent amount of cards in this that could be good for her. So between some of the SRs, right? But getting into the secret rares, again, some of the bigger pieces from the set, we've got Uta, a 7 cost 8k power, activate main once per turn, set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active, then rest up to 1 of your opponent's Dawn cards, or up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Interesting. I mean, it's activate main, so that's not bad. The fact that you can keep doing it, end of turn, you may rest 1 of your Dawn cards, set up to 1 of your film type characters as active. Not bad. We've seen some of these effects from film before. It's not horrible. I don't know if it's going to be enough to bring back film Uta. Who knows? Definitely a good buff, right? But I mean, resting a Dawn card is not bad. There's a lot of event defense right now, right? Everybody, Gum Giant, Thunder Bagua, right? There's a lot of people, Conquerors Hockey. There's a lot of counter events, right? So that's not bad. To do that every turn, essentially, is not, like I said, not bad. Then we've got the Law, 8 cost, 6k power, 1k counter, Rush, activate main. You may trash this card, 1 card from your hand, and this character, right? So Trash a card from your hand and this character. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. And then play 1 Law with a cost of 7 or less from your hand. So that could be like the secret rare heal Law. Not bad. You know, some green, yellow Law support, just supernova support in general. This could be purple Law, the 7 cost, right, from set 12. So Rosinante support as well. You know, this is also not leader locked either. Technically, it's just archetype locked to film, right? And you technically could just restand herself, you know, end of turn. So you don't need to like play this just in a film deck, right? But obviously this is a little bit more restricted in playing out a 7 cost or less Law. Not bad, not bad. I have heard some people talk about this is some decent green yellow Law support. So already from the secret rares, we've got some Uta support, some just good, somewhat decent green support, right? There's a lot of green stuff to pick from. We'll see. The Law, definitely for some supernova decks. Rosinante, the purple yellow Rosinante, green yellow Law could be good for yellow Captain Kidd, right? Some yellow supernova decks or any yellow deck that uses Law, right? Again, which are primarily supernova. Not terrible secret rares, right? I don't think they're on the level of like 4-cost Bon Clay in terms of like the generic use case for their colors, but they definitely do have a lot of decent use cases, right? A 6k power rush to heal and cheat out a basically replace the board state, right? So you get to ping 6, heal, replace it with another decent sized body, right? Has counter 2. Uta does not. So things to keep in mind. So not bad secret rares, not bad. Not hating on them, you know. They definitely have their use cases. They definitely buff you know, a handful of decks. Do we kind of prefer that? You know, I do like, I like secret rares to be very strong, obviously, but I don't think they have to be like so generically strong. You know, they both can be used in but it's not like they're leader locked or anything, right? I mean, the last secret rare that we had that was like super generically good probably was a Kuma, right? That 6-cost Kuma just in every single yellow deck. It was not bad, especially if the color needs support, right? I think green film needs more support than green overall right now. Like, I don't think Zoro's going to be used in this though. So it's, even though it's not like leader locked, it probably just won't get used in some of the more popular decks. So it's good support for what it needed to be, right? So let's just go through some of the colors, starting from this, right? Just got some vanillas. The SR for red, Uta 5/7 on play if your leader is Uta. So this is red Uta, the one that rested on to buff one of your vanilla cards by 2k, or red purple Uta, right? Draw 2. And then to play 1 character with 6,000 power or less and no base effect from your hand. So that is kind of the style for red Uta, right? The one that buffs the vanilla characters. Obviously, you could still play this in red purple Uta, just a swarm board. You'd have to put in some vanilla style line characters, right? It's not bad now that we have, for example, these ones that have the 2k counter option, right? So if you don't need a specific 2k counter, like if you have a flex spot for a 2k, you could put in one of these just to play off of this. It's not as great as playing like a 5/7 for stat lines, but then you also have it doubling as a 2k counter too. Then we have Karina, 3/2/1 blocker, opponent's turn. If your leader is multicolored, and you have no characters with a base power of 6,000 or more, this character gains plus 4k power. So early game, probably only the use case being a 3/6 blocker. Not bad, I guess, but probably quickly lose that buff. We got Sugar. I have heard people hype about Sugar. Obviously, this is just generic any multicolor, right? This is film archetype, so more red purple Uta support, red Uta support. Sugar 301 on play. If your leader is Sugar, okay, so leader lock. Play up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates type character card with 6,000 power or less from your hand rested. That is actually, well, okay, so it's just an early way to play out a character, right? Because this Sugar is 0 power, it does nothing else after it. You could, but like just the fact of the matter is you're playing out a 5/6 like Rosinante early on, or just for less Don, is super good, right? To essentially cheat out a 5 cost for 3 Don early on. That's not bad. That's not bad. Obviously, this is just for Sugar. Sugar has been a pretty rogue deck. Not the best. Hasn't really seen a lot of play. Maybe some of the support from this set will do it justice. Who knows? We got Nami, 5/7 on play. You can give your active leader minus 5k power during this turn. Draw 1 card. So this is for Vivi specifically, because you're going to rest Vivi to use her ability. So it doesn't matter if, you know, the leader goes down to 0k power, right? Just to draw a card on play. So replacing yourself in hand size, activate main once per turn. If your leader has the Alabasta type, so I guess it could be for both Vivi. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1k power during this turn. So this and the Vivi leader ability is giving something minus 3k power total. Not a bad combo. And you can swing this Nami into that character, right, to essentially clear it, right? If you are playing on curve, they played out, well, they wouldn't have swung with their 4 cost on saving over rush, but you know, if you just play this out, give something minus 3k power, 7k stat line into a minus 3k power, not bad. Does make it seem like Vivi could be decent for like red removal. Would be nice. Maybe comboing this with like the 7 cost Newgate that like rests himself to KOE 5k power or less. That's not bad because this is activate main too, right? And if you leave her standing, you can just protect it with leader ability. So it's kind of like it's an additional 6 cost law. I think the 6 cost law might be, well, he has a win attacking, right? So you can't use to give him brush. It's just that this has no counter, so that's a little bit of a downside, but definitely some decent Vivi support. 4/5/1 Baccarat blocker. On KO, play up to 1 character card with 6,000 power or less and no base effect from your hand. So another red Uta card. Again, I don't know if like some of these supports are pretty nice, right? A blocker plays out a card, replace herself. Like I said, you do have always the option to play out like these vanillas 2Ks, but typically there's a 2K with a better effect than just being a vanilla for these. So maybe we see some people bringing red Uta around. I don't know if it's going to be enough to save the deck. We'll see. Hibari, I think we talked about this before. 3/5 on play when attacking. Give up to 1 of your sword type leader or character cards. Can also attack active characters this turn. So this is another option instead of like the 3 cost Borsalino for Kobe to allow your board to swing into active characters, right? To remove them. Activate main. Give to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 1k power during this turn. Interesting. So obviously this is primarily for Kobe being the first half of the ability, right? It's a really good option for Kobe. Kobe's been getting a lot of love from Premium Booster 2 to this. There has been a lot of support. I don't know if Kobe has really shown out at all in OP13. However, with this, maybe, right? I think EB03 is just releasing recently for the East, but definitely another good option. No counter though, for a 3 Don play for this, right? We got Makino, 1 cost 0 power, 2k counter active main. Rest this character up to 1 of your characters with no base effect gains plus 2k power during this turn. It's not even film archetype, so you can't search it, but it is a little bit better for red Uta than the other Makino, the 1 cost, because she only buffs I think a 1 cost character. This is just no effect. So Could be a 10 cost with no effect. A 10 cost. I don't really have those, but you know what I mean. It could be a very big vanilla that you just buff. Not bad. And then they have to kind of swing into it so you don't just get that value every turn. So once you play this out early game, you can just get this and use your leader ability. You can swing pretty high pretty early with a vanilla. Honestly, this goes hard in red Sanji. Some of this support for like red Uta kind of goes hard for Premium Booster 1 Sanji, right? Because he does play some vanillas like the 6 cost Frankie. That's been pretty prevalent in the deck, right? He does run vanillas, so you can swing pretty high with that. Not bad, not bad. We've got Monet, 5/6/1 blocker. On play, look top 5 from your deck. Reveal up to 1 character card with 1,000 power or less, or an event card, and add it to your hand, and then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Power is like pretty low, to be honest, to hit much, right? We've got the Yeti Cool Brothers, right, combo. But finding a red event is actually not bad, right? There are a lot of like 10-layer egg glue that's used in Caesar, right? The UFO. Definitely some targets. The power, if it was like 3k power, like that's a lot. But like if you could find the 2 cost Monet or the like the Sanji, right, for that deck, this would be very strong. But obviously, you know, some support for Caesar Clown, or honestly, it is Don Quixote Pirates, so it could be for Sugar as well, right? The fact that you're searching any event, not just red, so that's actually really good for 5 cost, and you can cheat that out with the Sugar that we looked at before. So that's actually pretty good. Sugar looks like she's getting some good support, right? Yeah, 6 power. So on your 3-Don turn, you can play out this blocker, look for an event. Not bad. We've got the counter event for Vivi, right? If your leader is Vivi, up to one of the leader character cards gets plus 4k power during this turn. So just Radical Beam for Vivi. Give it to one of your opponent's characters plus minus 2,000 power during this turn. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I would run that over Radical Beam any day, right? Radical Beam triggers to buff one of your leader characters plus 1,000 for the turn. This gives minus 2k, so technically more if you have no Don open. That is not bad. We got Otama, the 2k counter, 2 cost, activate main. You may rest this character. Rest up to one of your opponent's Smile or Animal type characters or one of your opponent's Don. It is really just Don, right? Can we just be honest with ourselves? Nobody's playing Smile cards. Animal type, yeah, for sure. There's a lot, but the Don is not bad, right? Again, 2 Don, they'll have to swing into it. A 2k counter. There's a lot of good 2k counters for Land of Wano type at this point. For Green Yellow Yamato, Red Green Odin, right? They have a decent amount of things to pick from. This is obviously good for those decks. Not bad to rest of Don. We got Carrot, 6/7/1, active main. Once per turn, this character was played this turn. KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 5 or less, right? And then play up to 1 Zo from your hand. Really nice to be able to play out the stage. Active main gets around 1. It gets around Blackbeard, negating your on plays. Don't know how prevalent he's going to be in EB03. However, this also just works perfect with Carrot because you can play her out. Then if you didn't have any other character for Carrot's leader ability, right? Bring up the Carrot leader. This actually got top 4 recently at a regional, which is kind of cool to see. It's an activate main if you have a Minx type character. Rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less, right? So if you didn't have anything on your board, you could play her out and then use leader ability to KO that thing that you just rested, which is pretty good. And then play out a stage for free. Not bad. We got Kuina, 2 cost, 1k counter, 0 power, activate main. You may rest this character, give up to 2 rested Don cards to your / attribute leader. Not leader locked, just / attribute. So there is the Mihawk leader that just got revealed for OP14. Who knows if this is gonna see play in that. Obviously for Zoro, this is a nice option. Being again a type of pseudo blocker, they'll have to get rid of, or else you get just 2 free Dawn. Not bad. We got Kami, 2 cost, 0 power, 1k counter. After main, you may rest this character. Give 2 1 arrested Dawn cards to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character cards. Then rest of one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Not bad. Just resting a 2 cost, so maybe like a chump blocker. Nothing crazy. We got Hiyori, a 1 cost, 0 power. Obviously for Jinbei or maybe Hody, who knows, right? Hiyori, 1 cost, 0 power on play if your leader is Kozuki Odin. Draw 1 card. So red, green Odin, right? Pretty leader lock, just replacing yourself. Active main. You may trash this character, give up to 1 rested Dawn cards to your land Wano type leader. So pretty good for red, green Odin, actually. Allowing you to maybe play this out, leave it on board so you could play out a character that might not attach a Dawn to your leader, but you can still attach a Dawn to your leader with this so that when you get the when attacking, right? I guess I start bringing up the leaders, right? So this, you have to have a Dawn attached when you're swinging to get that buff for 1k. So this helps you play out on curve. We got Bonnie, another 5 cost supernova. So already possibly red, green, not red, green. Yeah, red, green law or green, yellow law, I guess. 5/6/1 on play if your leader has the supernova type. Yes, so supernova. Set up one of your Dawn cards as active. Then up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less cannot be arrested until the end of your opponent's next turn. Oh, okay. Essentially stunning an 8. So that means they can't block either. That's actually really good. I mean, up Luffy can't play the 8 cost Katakuri anymore, but like still a lot of decks do. And this actually be really good in the mirror, I would say, right? Because imagine your opponent's trying to play around an 8 cost kid. That kid can't rest himself, can't use his ability, right? If he's not rested, you can't force your opponent to swing into him. That's like, this is the answer for green to get around the 8-drop green kid. I mean, kind of not a little too late almost with the rotation coming. Important to note that will be in a few months after this release, I believe, coming in like April. So this will be coming out in February. So, you know, we got Smoker or Tashigi. Sorry, I'm so used to the body swap from Punk Hazard. 4/6. Opponent's turn, this character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects and gains blocker. So much protection from removal. End of your turn, you may rest one of your Dawn cards and trash 1 card from your hand. So this character is active. Not bad. So you always have a blocker. Pretty good. Can't be KO'd. So some good protection against removal like that. If it wasn't able to be rested, this would be like an inclusion in every like green deck almost. But definitely possibly for red, green Smoker, right? I don't know if you want to be trashing your hand like that, but I mean with Kobe, maybe the 4 cost Kobe that draws you a card every turn, possibly. It would be like a 4/7 blocker in that deck, so pretty good red, green Smoker support. We got Wanda, 6/7/1 blocker. It's not bad, just a blocker, right? Just a 6/7 blocker. We got an Uta counter event. Up to one of your leader characters gets plus 2k power during this turn. Then if you have 2 or more film type characters on your field, gains an additional 2k power. So a conditional 1 cost 4k power counter event. Trigger set one of your characters as active. Not bad, right? This kind of goes along with that 7 cost Uta Sugar we saw. So that's all the red and green cards so far, right? Some decent support for nothing crazy, right? But honestly, for the decks they do support, nothing was a crazy tier 1 deck. Some Zoro, right? Some Zoro support, but I don't think this breaks the deck even more. Maybe a little bit, but definitely some tier 2 and below decks getting love, right? So if those were some decks that you enjoyed playing, you know, maybe look into the set. We got Alvita, 4 cost, 2k power, 1k counter. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand and place up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 4,000 base power or less, and up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 3 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Interesting. So bottom decking a 3 cost and a 4k power, that is not bad. You do have to trash a card, right? This is cross guild, so buggy, you know, could be good against Rayleigh. Actually, this gets rid of Rayleigh's Luffy, the 4 cost Luffy, because it's base power 4 and whatever they played off of the Luffy. So that's actually really good. I don't know how the buggy matchup against Rayleigh was going. Definitely Rayleigh's still a pretty popular deck. People did play him in set 13 a bit, but maybe a little bit too late for it. Who knows? But again, decent buggy support. We've got a 6/6/1 blocker on play. Place up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Navy. Also some good Kuzan support, right? Not bad, right? If you're on 6 Dawn, if it was a 5 cost, that'd be like a perfect response to whatever your opponent just played. But if they just played a 4 cost on their 5 Dawn turn, then yeah, being able to bottom deck and establish a blocker has counter. Because previously your 6 Dawn turn was simply just the 6 drop AKK Kuzan, or maybe a blocker or a Cavendish or something like that. So another 6 drop option for the deck that has counter, not bad. I've always said once Kuzan gets actual cards that do something, he'd be a top tier deck, because it's just such consistency with that leader. It's actually crazy. We got Kaya, 2 cost, 2k counter. On play, look at the top 5 of your deck, place them in, top or bottom in any order. So this is just an expanded upon 1 cost buggy 2k counter that looked at the top 3 and only place them on the top, but for 2 Dawn, you can look at the top 5 and place them top or bottom. East blue, so technically good for the new Nami Mill deck, which is just not great, right? I think everyone is in agreement on that. It is much worse. Could be for some Boa support, any blue deck really, because it's just generic blue cards. If you care about what's upcoming in your blue decks, this is a nice pickup. It's a 2k counter as well. Vivi, this is a card we already looked at, but is super, super good. This is honestly just very generic good blue support. Could be used in blue purple even, possibly, right? This is a 5/4/1 blocker. On play, play 1 Straw Hat Crew or Alabasta card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. And then you cannot play character cards during this turn. So on 5 Dawn, you get to play out this and the 5 cost Nami blocker, which is just actually crazy. There's too many Nami cards. I don't know. The 5 cost Nami that stacks draws 3 and then stacks 2 from your hand to the top or bottom. So you're establishing 2 5 cost blockers on 5 Dawn. Really, really good, right? That's actually kind of crazy. Has counter too, so actually wild, right? To just establish 2 blockers, or just anything really. Any 5 cost or less Alabasta. This can let us play out this Nami for Vivi, right? That's pretty good for Vivi. Vivi can also just play out that Nami as well, right? But for, like I said, for blue purple, I don't know if you'd want to do that because it doesn't involve ramping early on, but late game, if you need to establish 2 blockers, that's pretty good, you know? Obviously keep in mind the effect. You can play characters after that, but we got the Hina, so possibly more Kuzan support. 5/6/1 on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. This activates Kuzan's leader ability to draw a card. Return 1 of character with 6,000 power or less to the owner's hand. So this gets rid of a 4 cost. So yeah, this is really good Kuzan support so far. He's got a nice curve now to help stay alive before you can start dropping Garp into something else, right? If they gave him a nice 8 cost, besides like the Aramaki, it'd be actually wild for the deck. But yeah, essentially bounce back a 4 cost, and then you get to cycle your hand too with Kuzan's ability, right? Trash 1, draw 1. Has counter, not bad. We got Boa, 6/8. I'm guessing this stuns something. On play, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in there. Oh, and we also did just get the new Boa leader reveal that has been confirmed, right? Blue and yellow. Looks pretty good, maybe, who knows, but people are hyping it up because it's Boa, new Boa leader. Already buying out a lot of the Boa cards, but if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, your opponent places 1 card from their hand at the bottom of their deck. Interesting. A little bit of hand removal early on. Activate a main once per turn. Place up to 1 of your characters at the bottom of the owner's deck. He says it has to be ours. Give your leader or 1 character up to 1 rested Dawn card each. Not bad. I wonder if you would be able to play this in blue red ace, right? The new ace, being able to attach a Dawn to leader. This actually seems pretty good, right? Because 6 Dawn options, you could play Jozu, right? But that against Emu typically doesn't hit because they'll have 7 in trash to defend their 5 Elder cards. But this just allows you to swing. It's got Boa's stat lines are typically a vanilla card stat lines. Very strong to have that and a decent effect. To on play, to get rid of 1 of their cards too. It's not bad. This is pretty good, right? Just off the fact that it has the decent stat lines of like a vanilla card and a decent on play with an activate main. Obviously, good for the blue Boa leader, the new blue-yellow Boa leader too, possibly. We've got Marguerite, the 6/7, 1 on play, return 1 character with a 7,000 base power to the owner's hand. That's really good. 7,000 power. That it's like Jozu but searchable for Kuja Pirates if you're running the searcher. So more Amazon Lily support for blue Boa. Also, it's just generically good blue, right? It's a 6 cost blue. It's essentially like Jozu, but technically Jozu bounces back a 6 cost. You just don't have to bounce back anything else with its effect. So if you don't have anything on the board to bounce back with a Jozu, which did happen a lot when I played blue Boa sometimes, right? It can get pretty tricky sometimes to keep the 1 cost on your board if you don't open up pretty strongly. So this is not bad. And it doesn't have to be your opponent's. It could be yours. So if you need to bounce back a character for counter, right? Pretty good. A lot of Boa support, which is nice because there's a new Boa leader. We got you, the girl that smoker knocks their ice cream out of her hand. Sorry, spoiler alert, but you know, this girl carrying the ice cream cone, she does drop it, but you know. 2 cost, 0 power, 1 K counter on play, trash a card from your hand. Activate main, you may trash this character. If you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw 2. Not bad, obviously. If you are going second, you draw to 6 cards. You play this out, go down to 5. On play, you trash a card, and then it puts you back up to 6. So it's just cycling out your hand essentially. So it's East Blue, so it's, you know, for Nami more or less, right? If it was a 2K counter, that would probably be too strong, right? But yeah, some East Blues Nami support. So at least they're giving you guys cards. You know, they gave like nothing to Red Purple Law, the reprint for that leader. At least they're giving you guys cards. I know you just, the deck is just not as good anymore, but it is what it is. It's what the game chose to do. So, you know, moving on. We got a Boa event, 1 Dawn. Main, you may rest 4 of your Dawn cards. If your leader is Boa Hancock, kind of straightforward to see what that is good for, right? Play up to 1 Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type character with a cost of 6 or less. So, for 5 Dawn, you can play out the 6 cost. So you can play out the Boa or the Marguerite that we just saw, or the old 6 cost Boa that stuns a target other than Monkey D. Luffy and bottom decks at 1 cost. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. And it also has counter. One of your Boa Hancocks gains plus 3k power. So this is actually not just for leader, right? This is for characters named Boa Hancock as well. So pretty good. It seems like a lot of the blue support was like, this card is obviously like the strongest bit, I think, out of it, just being able to cheat out. Straw Hat Crew is like obviously one of the more prevalent archetypes in the game, being our main characters of the show. The boa seems pretty strong, so some decent SRs in blue. They do have some generic use, so they can expand past them, but right, so if you're playing any deck that runs Straw Hat Crew, this VV is very, very good. Alabasta too, so this boa as well, pretty nice. And this event seems pretty good too, you know, just for 1 Dawn less to cheat out this. So if you are on 5 Dawn, this does just bounce back whatever your opponent just played out, and you have a stronger character out. That's pretty good. We just have vanilla Viola. Side note, I do really love these like full art vanillas. They always have amazing art. We got Reiju. This card is actually insane for Sanji. If you're playing the blue-purple Sanji, this is like a must-have card, I think, for the deck. 5/5/1. Your turn on play, Dawn -1 if your leader is Sanji. Activate the main effect of up to 1 event with a cost of 7 or less from your trash. So this just lets you play a Red Rock from trash, right? For 5 Dawn. So you can have multiple Red Rocks. Like the 4 Red Rocks you could have in a deck become 8, right? It could be Grav Blade. It's really, really good. Really, really good. It has counter too. This just gets you multiple uses out of your trash, which Sanji deck builds up a ton of. And also makes your deck building more expansive, as you don't need to max out copies of these big events now, right? I don't think they were in previous builds either, but it just means as long as you get that event in your hand, you have 2 copies of it essentially, right? You can play the event out 1 turn, play out Reiju the next turn, use the event again. Pretty crazy stuff. We got Flampe, 1 cost, 2k power, 1k counter. Your turn on play up to 1 of your Charlotte Katakuris. Gains plus 2k power during this turn. So this is essentially 1 Dawn to go plus 3k with the purple Katakuri leader, right? Because the Katakuri Dawn minuses 1 to go up plus 1k for the battle. So that Flampe you play out gives you 1 rested Dawn on your board. You put back the rested Dawn that you just used for this to buff your leader. So that's 3k power out of 1 Dawn, essentially, which is very good. That's very strong for 1 Dawn 3k swing. That's similar to the Olvia for Robin. It's not a 2k, but it does give you just more aggressive options, right? To make late game lethal math more in your favor. Keeping a couple of copies of this definitely would help. We got Brûlé, another 5 cost, 6k power, 1k counter, opponent's turn once per turn if your leader has the Big Bomb Pirate type. So this is for purple Katakuri, purple yellow Pudding, right? When a Dawn card from your field is returned to your Dawn deck, add to 1 card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So this is for Katakuri to use his leader ability, right, that we just showed. You can use this when attacking and on your opponent's attack to look at the top card of your opponent's deck and then get plus 1k power for the battle. So that means you can actually use this defensive side of his ability. You typically don't use that until late game from the amount that I've played, at least. It's just not worth it because you want to get to that 10 Dawn to start playing out like putting into Katakuri blocker or 10 cost Big Mom. But now with this on the board, I'd still probably prefer to play out like a Perospero or a Captain Kid blocker to ramp on my turn. But this just means that I can get a 1k counter on my opponent's attack for free, which is pretty good. If it was blocker, that'd be nice too, but can't ask for everything on a card. But still decent stat lines. 6k swing, it's not bad. It has counter too. Some nice purple Katakuri support. We got the 7/7/1 Lin Lin. On play, draw a card and place 1 card from your hand to the top of your deck. That could be good for... Well, no. It's decent. I was thinking about for the 9 cost Lin Lin, but you wouldn't really be able to have, it's not stacking 2. You would have to stack 2. So, don't mind me. Draw 1 card, place 1 card from your hand at the top of the deck. Then add up to 1 card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. On KO, Don -1, add to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. It is on KO. It's not... Oh, dude, Kaido Linlin play is going crazy. Hold up. You have Kaido Linlin out on the board. You play this out to stack your deck. You swing with it. That top card goes to the top of your life. Boom. You stacked a trigger that's going to save you... save the game. Now, that's actually... Well, no, you wouldn't have any Don to Don Mize for the effect. Because you have to Don Mize first with 10. Man, I don't know. Yeah, you know, it's just preventative so that like the body doesn't, your opponent doesn't want to KO the body, right? So you have a 7/7 that can pressure your opponent each turn. But I'm trying to think about like cooler plays, but they don't work unless you had some way to get the Don back instantly, like a Don back on KO. No. It's just a nice, your opponent won't want to swing into this because they don't want you to heal. It is kind of crazy. They gave purple another heal, so you could play this, and you could play this in blue purple Luffy, right? Your opponent just won't KO it, but you know. We got Pudding, 4 cost, 4k counter, or power, 2k counter, sorry, blocker. On play, if the number of your Don cards on your field is equal or less to the number on your opponent's field, add it to 1 Don from your Don deck and rest it. Not bad. Big Mom Pirates type, so could be good for some purple decks, right? Obviously, you would have to... It's a 2k counter searchable for Big Mom Pirates, so, you know, could go into the... if you're using Katakuri, the purple Katakuri's leader ability quite frequently, like if you just had to defend an attack, you could play this out to ramp back. You never know. This actually, hold on. Going back to this. Purple Yellow Croc. Purple Yellow Croc is the winner of EB03. And we'll get to it later. But Purple Yellow Croc, still not going to be good. But I will play that deck when this set comes out. And you should too if you want to be the most nuisance player at your locals or whatever tournament you go to. Because, yeah, Okama Way into this on KO, you get to heal. There's like 4 different cards now with this, the 8 cost Rush Do Flamingo, Kikanojo, Kuma, that if your opponent KOs, you get to heal. So, yeah, Purple Yellow Croc MVP. We got Baby 5, 4-2-1, on play Don -1, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 3 or less. I don't, like, that's, you know, a 4 Don, you respond to your opponent's 3 Don play, but then this kind of just does nothing unless you have a way to bounce it back to your hand or something like that. It's not crazy. It's not the worst. You also have the Don minus, which kind of is for 4 Don. I don't like that. Could be wrong in that card, but I don't think it's great. 4/5, 2k counter Limb. A 2k counter for Limb. On play, if you have 7 or more Don cards on your field, you're leading all of your characters with the Odyssey type, gain plus 1k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you become a 6k leader for your opponent's turn too. Not bad. I still don't think this saves Limb, but maybe. This does seem like a really good 2k. This does seem like a really good 2k option. Reiju event. 1 Don, you may rest 1 of your Don cards if the number of your Don is equal or less to the number of your opponents, and you only have characters with the type including Germa. Add up to 2 Don cards from your Don deck and rest them. So pretty good for Reiju actually. Counter, one of your leader gets plus 3k power. So yeah, not bad, right? Obviously, this is pretty good for Reiju. Technically, you could use it in Sanji because he does play like the 4-cost Reiju and has a new Reiju now, but it's definitely better for Reiju, right? We got, that's it for purple though. So some decent cards, a lot of purple Katakuri, some blue purple Sanji buffs, some Don Quixote Pirates. Lim got a really good 2k counter, like really good. Like this is a really good 2k counter. I just don't know if it's enough to bring Lim back, but it could, you know. For 3 Don, you play this out essentially and everything gets a buff of 1k. So if you have 4 cards on the board, that's a 5 Don buff for 3 Don, and it lasts for your opponent's next turn too, so it's easier to protect your board and leader. It's not bad. Yeah, so that is purple. Getting into black, we have ulti 671. On play, if your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates, is this king support? Because I will love that. You guys know I love the purple black king deck. It is nice. Draw one card and trash one card from your hand, and then play up to one character card with 6,000 power or less, and no base effect from your trash. No base effect from your trash. It's not great. It is not great. I don't know. Like draw one, trash one, sure, but yeah, I don't know why I would want to play base like vanillas in King. We got Khalifa, just a vanilla 2k counter. We got Kujaku 4/6 no counter opponent's turn. All of your characters with the sword type and a cost of 6 or less gain plus 2k power. So this is really good defense for Kobe, right? Your board just gets super beefy, hard for your opponent to swing into or remove. On play, trash one Navy type character from your hand, draw 2. Not bad, really good card. Kobe's getting a lot of love from this set. We got Koala. I have seen this card. 4/5/1 if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type. So all of the Sabos and Koala, obviously, right? This character gets +4 cost. Opponent's turn on KO. Play to one character with a cost of 6 or less. With the name Nico Robin, or with the Revolutionary Army type other than Koala from your hand or trash. So this is a 4-Don that can cheat out your opponent just won't want to swing into this, right? But that's not bad if they're a 5k power leader. This is just a free swing into him every turn, right? That they won't want to get rid of. And it helps you use Koala's leader ability because it's +4 cost, right? The new Sabo too. Right? I think he relies on cost as well. Let me just double check that actually. I know Koala cares about it, but I'm pretty sure the new Sabo, right? If you have 4 or more life cards, this game -1k power, right? Don ×1 if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more. Yeah. All of your characters and leader get +1k power. So yeah, definitely more options to help you activate that. And obviously the 6 cost Robin blocker that trash the card from your hand to trash 2 from your opponent's. Really good. You can play Akuma. There's a lot of good Rebel Army 6 drops to pick from. This is just more good Koala support. I did like, right, because previously for Koala 4-Don, it was like Hack or Morley, the 2k counter, if you wanted an 8 cost on board for leader ability, which of course we do. It's not bad, but I kind of wish it was a 3 cost or, right, because the 3 cost is a definite, but if you had a 3 cost, you probably want to get the buff to become an 8k, right, or an 8 cost. The 3 cost area for Koala is a little bit weak. You're just using searchers or playing a blocker maybe on a 3-Don turn if you're going first, right? It makes the deck very good for going second, not for going first. We got Stussy, 7 cost, 7k power, no counter blocker. On play, you may place 2 cards with the type including CP from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. I really like... Yeah, it's Rob Lucci support, but like with Emu being so prevalent, is that even like... I mean, if you guess you're playing against anything other than Emu, pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. I think removal's been hit pretty hard in the game. I think a lot of people did not like it, myself included, back when it was at its peak in like OP07 and 8, and even OP06 when Gokumori came out. But now there's so much protection against it. Don't know if this will help bring back Rob Lucci. Black Maria, 3 cost, 4k power, 1k counter. If your leader is multicolored, this character gets blocker. So not leader locked to get blocker. On play, look top 5 of your deck, revolve to 1 Onigashima Island and add it to your hand, and then you can play 1 Onigashima Island from your hand. Ever since the Iceberg and Carrot of EB02 that looked top 7 for stage and played it, I wanted something like that for King. Obviously, This would be for any black deck that was Animal Kingdom Pirates type, but really just, you know, king right now. Pretty good. A 3 cost. So instead of just for 3 Don playing out the stage, you're getting a blocker on board. So you're actually playing something out, and you get to play out your stage and ramp. Very nice. Very nice. We got Perona, an SR 4/6, no counter blocker on play. Give up to 1 rested Don card to one of your leader or one of your characters. And then if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, play up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type character with a cost of 2 or less from your trash rested. This is not bad. You know, some Perona, Gecko Moria support. Gecko Moria actually got a lot of support recently with Premium Booster 2 getting some cards. This as well. Very interesting. Perona getting some love. Green, black Perona, right? We've got Miss Doublefingers 451. There was a Crocodile leader supposedly for OP14. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, so take that with a grain of salt, but Baroque Works could be good for that leader coming out. On play, if there's a character with the cost of 0, dude, it's got to be true. The leaks have got to be true. It's got to be true. The numbers are starting to make sense because of Croc's leader ability, which didn't make any sense, but you know, I'm supposing he's going to care about characters having 0 cost. On play, if there's a character with 0 cost or a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. So replaces herself with 4/5 that replaces herself on KO, trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. I'm assuming he's going to care about milling cards for reasons. Not bad. Again, we have to see what the Croc leader does. There's a lot of Black Baroque Works support, so very interesting. Yeah, it does make sense that the new Croc leader would be like, I don't know, multicolored or not, but there were leaks for all the OP14 leaders, but I don't think it's been confirmed except for 2 of them, the Mihawk and the Boa. But supposedly there is I think it was mono black Croc leader. On play, trash 3 cards from the top of your deck. On KO, draw a card. Yeah, it's gotta be a deck that cares about milling, like how many cards are in your trash, right? I don't know. A 2 cost Rebecca 1K counter blocker. On play, look at top 5 of your deck, reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type stage and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Play up to 1 Dressrosa type stage card. Okay. With the cost of 1 from your hand. Blocker to play out stage. Usopp support. Rebecca support. Technically you could use the Dressrosa stage in Koala, but like I've never seen a single deck list that does. Right, Koala does have that Dressrosa typing, please. Pretty sure. But yeah, you know, some Usopp support, right? A 2 cost blocker is not bad, especially for that deck when, you know, one of your cards is removed by KO or effects, you know, get to draw a card. We got Perona event, 1 Don rest 7, so 8 Don total cost for this event. Gotta be hefty. If your leader is Perona, so only Perona, so green black Perona, play up to 1 Thriller Bark type character card with a cost of 6 or less. Oh wait, and 1 Thriller Bark fire card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand or trash. So this is just Gecko Moria, but without the character aspect of it. Not that great. There was the 6 cost Gecko Moria, right? So this is the banned one, right? There's this 6 cost that came out in Premium Booster 2 that on play if your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type. So probably the target for this, I would say. You can play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested, then give it to 1 rested on card to your leader or one of your characters. Yeah, so you're cheating out like a lot of characters with this event. Because that Perona 4-drop, you could also play out. She also played out a 2 or less. So you're playing out a 6-drop, 2 4s, and a 2? That's not bad. I think the best 2-drop Thriller Bark was there's a blocker. Or there's one that I think gains power on your turn for how many cards you have in trash. But nothing that crazy. I don't think you're going to like, it's not like the old Gecko Moria where you're going to be establishing board and then removing a bunch of stuff. This is just going to swarm your board and play out a couple of blockers. So you're going to just go wide, right? And then counter one of your leader, your leader just gains plus 3k. Yeah, just a leader. All right, so for black, a lot of Perona support, some new cards for the new Crocodile leader, which again hasn't really been confirmed. Some Usopp, some Koala or Sabo support, some Rob Lucci support. Interesting. So all we have left is yellow. We've got Coney's 2 cost, 0 power, 1k counter on play. Play 1 Sky Island type characters, gains double attack during this turn. So 2 Dawn, Sky Island gains double attack. Interesting. Interesting. So Sky Island. That could be interesting, right? This, just play this out after this turn and just go aggro with the 10 cost. It'd be kind of crazy, right? Early game, you could like hit an Holly, right? Rush an L, Gadatsu. Just play aggro an L, right? Oh, also side note, shout out to Cardi Kazuko. I think I forgot to say this at the beginning, but this is his deck builder. I didn't also want to just like regurgitate just rereading some of these cards. So hopefully like talking about some of the leaders that they can be played into can be a little bit helpful, right? And theory crafting a little bit of like some plays. So hopefully it's been nice. This has just been my like first reaction to some of these cards. So it's nice. We will go through in more detail some of my theories on some of the cards that are like stand out for this. We've got Charlotte Smoothie, 3 cost, 3k power, 2k counter, so a 2k option for Big Mom Pirates. On play, if you have a face-up life card, KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and then turn all of your life face down. Ooh, nice. So another way to flip your life for Pudding, right? Also could be used for Shirahoshi, just to mention. Shirahoshi, the leader that flips her life up. There's definitely better options, I think, for that deck, but for Pudding, this is another 2 cost or 2k counter option that would let you use your leader ability to help you consistently ramp, right? Speaking of Shirahoshi, we got the 3 cost Shirahoshi, 0 power, 1k counter. Activate main, you may trash this character if your leader is Shirahoshi. Add to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Then all of your Neptunian type characters gain plus 1k power during this turn. You get to 3 Dawn, heal, and get a buff on all of your characters. That's kind of crazy. Shirahoshi might like actually start contending with leaders that can't attack, in that category. Right? I feel like Vegapunk's been the standout one for so long of like actually decent leaders that can't attack, because famously they have been some of the not that great ones for the game. But this is a very strong card. We got the Nami 5/6/1. On play, give up to 1 rested Dawn cards to your leader. So this is obviously some good BY Nami support. Then if your opponent has 3 or more life cards, your opponent adds 1 card from the top of their life to their hand. All right, that's actually crazy. It's not as bad because it's not trashing it, but that's, that is wild. On KO, you may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face up, play up to 1 character card with 6,000 power or less from your hand. Yeah, BY Nami got insane good support. This is going to play out like Kikanojo, right? That deck, I think, still uses that card. Play 1 character card with 6,000 power or less from your hand. What if you just played out another Nami? It doesn't, I don't think it's specified, right? But kind of crazy, has counter too. That is just really good support for Nami. Wild. We got Robin 3/5/0 counter. On play, you may trash 1 card from the top of your life. Add to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So this is literally just for BY Nami. It is crazy that they printed a Robin card that is for blue yellow Nami and not Robin, because there's just not really a point to playing this. It's not, it just gets Nami's draw online, not anything crazy. You're not like healing, you're just going 1 for 1 in life, right? It's just 3/5. Trigger, trash a card from your hand, play this card. Yeah, so looks like Nami got a lot of support. And of course, this is the fabled card. 7, 8, no counter, SR. On play, you may trash one card from the top of your life. If your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, add up to 2 cards from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So it's essentially just trashing a life to heal 1, right? You're just going up +1 in life, right? But then the secondary ability, opponent's turn, on KO, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. I believe this was recently confirmed that yes, if your opponent has 0 life, this would win you the game. Which is why I'm saying Purple Yellow Croc is the real winner of EB03. That's what I'm saying. The deck still probably won't be that great, but he got so much support. And you could be the biggest nuisance at the tournament. Because, like, what do you mean if I get you down to 0 life, you just have to be ready to lose the game at any point? You know, that is wild. Also, I think that genuinely, this is for the Straw Hat Yellow leaders right now, like Robin or Nami. I think Nami gets better use out of this because you get to draw a card off of the fact that a life is being lost, right? So for like the leader ability, you know, you get to draw a card with that. It's sad. As somebody who loves Robin and the deck, I think you'd still run this card in the deck. It's still good. It's a 7/8 heal that your opponent won't want to KO, right? But it's just better in Nami. So I'm just like, it's sad. It's sad to see Robin not get her own crazy support, right? Like all these cards just feel better for Nami so far. So I'm kind of sad. I'll still be trying the deck out, but I'm still kind of sad about it. I'll be honest. We got Bello Betty, a 2k counter, 4 cost, 3k power on play. You may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face up, KO one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 3 or less. Yeah, I mean, you can buff the character too for Betty. It's not leader locked in any way, right? But it's just KO's a base cost of 3, so it's not even like that crazy. It's just a searchable Revolutionary Army 2k counter. You could use this for Koala for sure, right? For a 2k counter that gets rid of a 3 cost. Maybe not bad. I think there's better 2Ks and better 4-down options, but it is there. Yamato, this card is one I wanted to talk about. 5/6/1. On play, give up 3 Rested Dawn cards from to your Land of Wano type leader. So this is literally just for green, yellow, and yellow Yamato. And on KO, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards. This is actually crazy because now we can still put a lot of pressure on while establishing a decent body, which was green, yellow Yamato's one of the weaknesses for the deck. Is like, okay, do I want my leader to win me the game, or do I want to establish the bodies, right? Do I want to just stack a bunch of Dawn on leader and apply pressure, or do I want to play out bodies? Previously, your biggest uptick to that was playing trigger bodies, right, and hoping you get some out of life, or playing the 3-cost Mihawk that cheats out a body, so you can at least get more value from playing out a body, right? You're getting 2 for 1, similar to like Ohm Holly, right? That was in the deck before, like way back. This is a really good card for the deck. This is a really good card. Just being able to swing 8k on 5 Dawn and establish a card that is kind of sticky because it's similar to Hawkins where they want to KO it, and it also has higher stat line, so it's harder to remove than Hawkins, right? You can't just bomb deck it or bounce back as easily. And then we've got Lilith 5/6/1. Your turn on play, if you have 2 or less life cards, draw 1 card. So pretty good for Vegapunk. Pretty good for Vegapunk. Yeah, and it's also leader locked for the trigger. So yeah, nice Vegapunk support. Always getting Vegapunk support. It's crazy. We got 6/7/1 for the S-Snake. On play, if your leader has the Egghead type, so this could be for the new Bonnie or Vegapunk, right? And you have 2 or more life cards, you may add 1 character with a trigger from your hand to the top of your life cards face up. Well, that's really good. That's really good. And it's a 6/7, so you can't use it with Vegapunk's lead ability, right? But trigger up to one of your opponents with a cost of 6 or less, other than Monkey D. Luffy, cannot attack during this turn. So yeah, that's a really good card. Great Egghead support. We got a Nami event, 1 Dawn main if your leader is Nami. You know, simple to think what that is for. Look at top 4 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with a cost of 2 to 8, and add it to your hand. So this is similar to the EB03 searchers that just looked for anything generically based off of cost above a 4, but this looks for 2 to 8, which very much fits what Nami does because you want to have Dawn to put on leader for her leader ability. So yeah, wow, that is a lot of cards for Nami. Am I salty that there wasn't as much support for Robin? Yes. yes, but it's okay. There were some cards. So that is the entire list for EB03. I wanted to talk about it because it is a very hype set, right? It's the heroine set, you know, it's everyone's talking about it. There are some crazy cards. There's some winners for sure, right? I think big winners of the deck, or the you know, of the deck, of, you know, of the set, definitely some Supernova, some film type stuff with these secret rares, right? BY Nami got a lot of support. Koala, some Revolutionary Army type stuff. Boa, right? Generically speaking, Blue got some really good cards, right? And yeah, I think Croc, Purple Yellow Croc got like a lot of funny stuff to play around with. So let me know. I know this was a lot of yapping and just reading the cards, right? But this was a set that I want to talk about. And so overall, thoughts, theories, should you buy this set? What to look out for, right? Obviously, some of the leaders that we talked about throughout this, if you were excited about them, this might be a set to pick up. Again, it's very hype. There's a lot of, you know, going to be pretty pricey SPs and high rarity stuff from it if you're a collector and like that type of stuff, you know. Definitely worthwhile. The secret rares seem pretty good, but they're not as generically good as some secret rares have been. So yeah, they will be a boost to the decks that can run them, but they're not just generically good for the entire color, right? They kind of are, but you know, not as much as previously. And only with 1 leader. So if VV isn't your play style, you know, you might not need to pick it up for that alone. It is going to be a pretty strong set. We are coming off of the heels of a very big power creep set, OP13, which is going to change up the meta a lot. It's going to form like a triangle meta with like Ace, Emu, Zoro. Roger gets in there a bit more once the promo Roger comes out that buffs him a lot for the deck. This set does seem like it helps a lot of lower tier decks become a little bit more caught up with some of the power, but still probably not like tier 1 for most of them. Truly, I think like some of the biggest power increases, yeah, might be for BY Nami, because she was doing pretty good beforehand with some of the support recently, but this is just like a lot of stuff for her. And then, of course, there are some newer leaders that are coming out in set 14 that you'll probably need some of these cards for. Like we talked about, the Boa Hancock leader, the Mihawk could maybe use a few of these cards, right? Like the Queen or something like that. Croc, the Black Crocodile leader. Those are things to keep in mind if you are going to be looking to play set 14 leaders. Some of these cards might be applicable. So again, with every set I talk about, probably just want to pick up singles if you aren't like super hype about this set, but keep in mind this comes out in February. So we will have a little bit of a break after set 13 comes out, and probably for like Nats and everything, it's going to be like set 13 format, I would say. I have to look at dates, everything for that, but yeah, an interesting set, a lot of hype cards, definitely some boosts to a few particular decks, but a lot of stuff is kind of leader locked or archetype locked, you know, things like the sugar that are just like only for sugar, right? So don't go crazy over everything coming out. There's a lot of product coming right at us because of the heightened release schedule, so don't go crazy over things, right? But let me know if you are looking forward to EB03, what you are looking forward to playing out of it, because there are a variety of leaders that get buffed from it. So let me know what you're looking forward to in it. If you're going to be collecting the set, playing any decks that are getting buffed out of it if you're looking forward to the new VV leader, right? It is probably going to be a pretty hard set to get your hands on sealed product because it is, you know, pretty hype for collecting purposes, I would say. You know, with it having a lot of fan favorite characters and like some pretty pricey, like crazy looking SPs. So I'm just imagining they're going to be pricey, right? But picking up singles for like the random stuff that you want to play, like, shouldn't be that hard. You know, if you want to play Quag and the SR, probably won't be that crazy. So picking up singles won't probably break the bank for you, hopefully, for some of the stuff. But yeah, there are definitely some winners, some pretty decent cards. Again, I don't know if it'll be enough to shake up the OP13 meta too much, because that triangle meta, it's a strong one. It's a strong triangle up at the top with those leaders, right? But who knows? Again, it's smaller tournaments. You can always play whatever you feel like it and probably do decent, right? But yeah, a lot of yapping, just going over the card list for a set that I wanted to talk about, because with how hype it is, it like amplifies the FOMO. So again, if none of the decks that we talked about are ones that you care about playing, then maybe, yeah, you just skip the set. Maybe you don't spend the money on the set, because again, we'll have OP14 that'll have EB04 in it down the line to look forward to too. So it all depends on what you're trying to play. Again, my message, don't break your bank over it. Don't try to just keep up with every single product that's released for it. You'll struggle to do so unless your pockets run deep. But yeah, either way, that is my thoughts on a lot of the EB03 list. You know, pretty fun set. I'll be trying to pick some up because it does have a lot of cards for decks that I enjoy playing in it. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.